arrangement, and it don't seem like you happy. I'm scared to get to a point with no return.
I had to carry the brunt of this relationship, the brunt of these kids and everything. I put a lot of my dreams on pause. So now that you're here, there is a part of me that feels like, I want to shoot movies, you know, I want to open up businesses, I want to hire more people.
You can't neglect, you know, our needs or things that you want. If money gonna make you happy and that's gonna fulfill you, what are we doing here?
You feel.
Hey guys, welcome to Little Black But 91. Listen, we're going to watch the rest of this video, but I want to talk about a really important conversation here. Assumptions kill, okay? Assumptions tarnish relationships and they will ruin marriages. An assumption is simply a thing that's accepted as true or as certain to happen when there's no proof, right? So there's no proof. Well, you've accepted it that it's going to be true or that it's going to happen, right? And it's really interesting to see Mendecee and Yandy in this position, right? They're having this conversation and they're talking about how they feel. He started off by saying that actually the relationship that they have right now, he feels some type of way. And the way that he feels about the situation is that that he feels like the relationship is at a point where they're at no return. He's almost ready to quit this relationship. Right? It's got to a point where it's so drastic, he's ready to quit. And as I started watching it, I said to myself, wow, okay, which side do I choose? And I automatically realized by me choosing a side, this is not me coaching them, right? Like imagine if they came to me, what would be my issue? How would I handle these two? And I want to say this first and foremost, assumptions always kill in some essence because usually we're wrong. Usually we base our patterns of thought of past experiences and past behaviors and past relationships, and we bring it into the present without actually fully understanding where that person's coming from, without asking the facts, without asking if we know what's really happening right now, and being aware of our own projections and how they play a role due to our bias in how we're viewing the situation. So looking at Yandy and looking at Mendecee, we've got to ask a real question at this moment in time, which is what's going on with these two? Why are they in such a conflict and such a bind that they are now at a place of no return? Well, there are 5 problems that I kind of denoted, probably 6 problems, which I denoted in what they discussed. And I'm going to share that with you really, really quickly, and then we're going to break down the whole entire video. Problem 1 is he brought up the point that he's scared to get to a point of no return. He feels a relationship is as a business arrangement. Number 2, she said she had to put a lot of dreams on pause. Okay, that's a problem. Problem number 3 is neglecting the family and the needs. He feels like the family is being neglected and its needs. Number four, Yandy does whatever she wants and does not make decisions, but doesn't make decisions for them, but she makes it for herself. Problem number 5 is I'm here now, so I want you to slow down, basically, right? And then problem number 6 is you don't think I love you. He basically almost insinuated he doesn't think that she loves them. And that's now also a problem as well. And then there's a solution given at the very end, which is that they were going to go to therapy and he wanted her to pay attention to the family. Now, what's really interesting is that as I delve deeper, I started to realize how difficult this conversation is. And I'll tell you why. Because as clear as Mendecee was, he still wasn't clear enough. It does not mean he's wrong. It means we need further clarity. What I'm going to ask you to do is by the end of watching this video, I want you to know what exactly the need is for Mendecee, because he's at a point where he feels relationships at a point of no return and it feels like a business arrangement. But what is the need of Mendecee? If we get to the end of the video and you cannot specifically say what his actual need is, then that means we've not clearly communicated what we actually want to see, right? And I believe that by the time we get to the end of the video, the next 2 minutes, you're going to find out that you actually don't know what his actual needs are. And it's going to be really intriguing when we start breaking down the video in a more detailed way. So if you're new to the channel, do me a massive favor, like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is, baby. All right, we're here to help you guys have healthy relationships. And I want to help you today be able to stop making some of these assumptions and also believing that you're communicating when you're not really communicating. When you should be communicating your needs, you're actually not being clear enough, and that's going to cause you some issues as well. All right.
Deeper.
That's right. Let's get deeper. All right, let's listen.
Like
I feel
Because
like
I work
no,
hard.
it's not about work hard. Please let's not make this about work hard, right? But just make it about Yandy do what she wanna do, right? Yandy definitely live in her own world. It's getting frustrating. I don't know how long I can tolerate this. We had the breaking point whether we gonna sink or we gonna swim.
Could you ever see yourself actually divorcing Yandy?
I don't know. I ask myself that question every day and can't come up with an answer. Yandy make all the decisions.
I've loved him when it was hard. I've loved him when some may have thought I should separate myself from loving him. I've been there, and I didn't have to be there. Only love would keep me here. That hurt and cut deep.
I feel like maybe we need to talk to somebody. We really need to seek and get some help before it get any worse.
Maybe if you could articulate to me, what is it that you need? You have to be able to communicate what you need so that I can try to do it.
I'm asking you to pay attention to your household. I don't know how you get through all the stuff we get through and then fail and lose it all. I signed up this to be my forever and feel like this ain't gonna be forever.
Whew, Chile, not easy. Okay, if you watched the video, then by all means, I'm sure you guys have wrote down some notes or whatever. What do you believe is the need of Mendecee? What we actually hear is Mendecee telling us to pay attention to your household. What does that mean? Pay attention to your household. What does that actually mean? When you say pay attention to your household, what are you really requesting? What are you actually asking from your partner? You see, a lot of times when arguments happen or disagreements happen, it's because we have differing goals. We have different ideologies or different thoughts, right? We're not always in alignment because we're human beings and two human beings coming as one. And so because of those different methods and those different goals and the different ambitions, the different ideals, they play a role in sometimes how we disagree. And sometimes we're going to see things from a different perspective, which is not a problem because the whole point of a human experience is to solve issues. And when you're married, you're trying to come into alignment as much as possible. So Yandy and Mendecee, right? As I said earlier on, they have several problems. You know, he feels like a business arrangement. She feels like she has to pursue her dreams, but has to give it up. He feels like he's neglecting the she's neglecting the family needs. Yandy does whatever she wants to do and makes decisions for herself. He believes that he's here now, and he wants her to slow down. And then obviously he says inadvertently that, you know, almost questioning whether she loves him or not. Right now, in amongst of all this, I asked that question about what was his need because I wanted you to be able to point out what was his need. And what I meant by that is not what I meant by that is we probably all picked up on the fact that he feels like she's neglecting the family and the needs, and he feels like she should pay attention to the household. And I asked the question, but what does that mean? What does that entail? Right? We know your job as a gardener, but what does a gardener job entail? There's specificities or okay, I'll probably make another word, who knows, that need to happen from that, right? Specifics, so that the person knows where they are. That is why the last point by Yandy is one powerful point, because what she's alluding to is be clear with what you mean so that I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. See, because she wants to be able to do what you're asking her to do, but he keeps talking in a general specific, hasn't realized that he has to be specific and nail it down because he believes and assumes she knows what he's talking about. Let's have a little clip of play.
And cut deep.
I feel like maybe we need to talk to somebody. We really need to seek and get some help before it get any worse.
Maybe if you could articulate to me, what is it that you need? You have to be able to communicate what you need so that I can try to do it.
Now, before he goes off, she says, listen, in order for me to do what I need to do, I need you to articulate to me what the actual issue is and what your actual needs are. And this is not saying anybody's bad or good. I think that was a really great response because what it does, it forces the other person to be specific so that the person can make actionable changes. Here's the issue though. There's an assumption on Mendecee's part that she understands exactly what he means. But what he doesn't realize is she doesn't. That's why she asked the question, be specific. She doesn't want to deny the request. Now, of course, she has her defensive moment a little bit earlier on where she says, I love you, da-da-da. We can get into that. but the specifics in this instance, right, are focusing on the need, and he needs to be understand that. Listen, let's watch it.
Pay attention to your household. I don't know how you get through.
Now, as he says, I want you to pay attention to the household. What does that mean? What does that? And I'm saying that so that we sometimes have to make it to a point where the person fully understands where we're coming from, so that the person doesn't attack the wrong point. Because earlier on in the video, she ended up attacking the point of, so are you saying I don't love you? No, are you saying that you don't think I love you? That wasn't the point he was making originally, but because the point that he was making was not specific in terms of actionable actions for her to be able to take, the conversation gets skewed, and then we're arguing about another point which actually doesn't hold much weight, because that's not where we're arguing. So now we're going to be arguing about something else. It's going to be added into the conversation. This is why being specific about what we're trying to attack is so important and so powerful.
All the stuff we get through and then fail and lose it all. I signed up this to be my forever and feel like this ain't gonna be forever.
Now, he says, obviously, I signed up this to be my forever, but this ain't going to be my forever. And I totally get what he's saying. I understand where he's coming from. You know, when you're reaching your wit's end at a relationship, that's where you get to. But I want to go back to that point again, okay? Now, he got frustrated with her because he assumed she was not understanding his point. He was right in the assumption. She didn't understand his point. That's why she wanted him to clarify. And instead of actually him, and again, it's not I'd say he's right or wrong. It's again to say, but we could see he got frustrated. Right? And we understand, because maybe he's kind of said this several times. He's frustrated to a point where he says, pay attention to your household. But we still don't know what that essentially means. We can assume, but if we assume and we get it wrong again, we'll be back at square one. So what is needed by Yandy once more almost is to ask that question again. Okay, I hear you saying about pay attention. What does that mean for me as a behavior? Do you want me to cook more? Do you want me to be in the house more? Do you want me to look after the kids more? Do you want me to be more emotionally present for you and the kids? What is it you're actually asking? And this is where you're going to find out some people lack language to back what they actually feel. And this is why arguments tend to take a much longer route, because sometimes we lack the language to be able to bring a point in a way that is able to be understood. And so now in this point, pay attention to your household. Does that mean come home more? Okay, you've mentioned that obviously that, you know, her working so much. So now she's going to have to deduce. Are you saying that you want me to be at home more? Right? Are you saying you want me to be at home more? Or are you saying that you have an issue with the fact that I have... Because remember, if we're not specific, what's going to happen is an argument is going to take place because people are going to make assumptions. Now, if Yandy starts making assumptions, this argument is going to get worse. Here's how it's going to get worse. She said earlier on, you know, I had to put a lot of my stuff, of my dreams on pause. So wait, are you trying to stop me from following my dreams? Is that what you're telling me? Are you telling me, Mendecee, that you're angry because I'm following my dreams? She's going to assume. Are you telling me I'm neglecting my family because I'm deciding to chase my dreams? So are you doing the exact same thing when you decide to chase your dreams? Are you neglecting the family? See, then things start to go left very, very quickly when we have 3 or 4 different points, but we're not being specific about actually what we want. And so what conversation you had previously, which was going in a good direction, suddenly takes a turn for the worst and becomes this really antagonistic conversation where people are missing your point and you think they might be doing it on purpose. But no, there's been 3 or 4 points that the person is now assuming and bringing it into alignment, and they're incorrect because that's not the point you're resting on. Right? So I can make an assumption and say what he really wants. And again, I'm going to assume now, right? And it's not good to assume. So I'm going to assume based on the information you've given us, he's not comfortable with Yandy spending so much time working on her dreams when he feels that she should be at home playing the mother role, the wife role, right, with the family, right? And what he wants is for her to take a step back and let him resume leadership in the household, because he says that, right? I'm here now, you know, you can slow down, you know. And so now we're in a position where are you annoyed because she's following her dreams and you feel like you're being neglected and the family's being neglected? And it could be that he's saying that too. But do you see how quickly this goes left if we make these assumptions? Because really and truly, we're not being specific about what we actually need. So what is his need? He needs to make it very, very clear so that we can make actionable results. So if you're in a relationship right now and you're probably having an argument, you probably had a situation or a disagreement, this is what you need to know. Your assumptions are going to kill. So what you need to do, be specific about what you want to see. Some of you won't do that because you're afraid of actually being specific, because you don't know how to say, you don't know how to put across and advocate for your needs. You haven't been taught that. Some of you won't do it because you don't have the language. Right? Some of you are afraid that if you do that, you're going to offend the person or hurt the other person, and therefore they won't want to be in a relationship with you. Whatever your reason is, right? It's time to speak up. It's time to let the person know specifically, what do you need? Yandy, I need you at home more. That looks like maybe 3 to 4 times a week. I need you at home rather than being out chasing your dreams. I want to be the breadwinner. I want to be able to be the provider, and I want to be able to provide for my family. The reason why I want you to be at home is because it makes me feel like, X, Y, and Z. It makes me feel like, we're losing you. It makes us feel like we're not so connected. It makes me feel like, we're not really a part of the family. Right? Feelings and the actions. We need to let people know, because emotive language is really powerful and really important because people respond to it. You know how we know? Because they do business that way. Marketing involves emotive language that draws you in. So when you are discussing with your partner, emotive language is important. I'm talking about mostly from a man perspective, talk to a woman. We need to use emotive language because that's what they understand. So I feel this way when you do X, Y, and Z. Remember, it's on you. I feel this way when you do X, Y, and Z. Just a little video there. I hope you guys like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button. I hope that's helped. Make sure you subscribe to the channel.